Hey everybody, this is Paul, and I've already talked about this chart, but I really want to focus on cold hardiness today in plants that are on here that score under 3. They will get frost damage even in a mild winter, in my opinion. This winter has been pretty mild. We've been in the high 40s and a few nights into the upper 30s, and definitely American Beauty's gotten a lot of damage and some other things as well. So let's go talk about first what's weakest here is number 1, and that's going to be a yellow variety of dragon fruit. So here's like our Columbiana here, and it's been in the garage this whole season. It's just slowly shriveling up because it's just not growing any roots. It just, if it's not warm enough, this thing doesn't grow at all. Here's a yellow cross 68, no new growth here, and I keep that in the garage as well. That's a half yellow dragon fruit and half, I believe, Guatemalensis variety. Here's Frankie's Red. That thing does not like the cold, so you can see we've been using Christmas lights to keep them warm, and our giant yellow Pelora. So all of these despise the cold, and that's why I have these Christmas lights on. It was at 41 degrees last night, so I light these up and then cover it with a tarp. You can see this thing is doing pretty well, but it's just stopped growing completely. So these are definitely, if you don't protect them and keep them inside, they'll definitely get damaged, or something like this is Frankie's Red would probably die if I didn't keep covering it up at night, even though it's only in the low 40s. All right, let me go show you some more heavily damaged varieties. Okay, so according to Thai at Spicy Exotics, it's been found that American Beauty is the same as Bien Hoa Red. So, however, they were scored differently. So Bien Hoa Red was marked at like 1.75 according to that data sheet, and American Beauty was at 2.75. And I think that's definitely wrong. That's what's happened here from the frost. It was doing really well until this piece is about 1 foot long, and the frost just damaged it right there all the way to the stem. So I'll probably have to cut it here and see if I can save the rest of this piece, as you can see. So bummer about that, but I'm gonna leave it. It might stay. We'll see. The stem might bounce back, but that was one piece of evidence to show it easily gets damaged by frost. There's some down there by the stem as well. See that rot? And some right here too. So that is all frost damage right there. This is gonna come back. I could probably cut it off, but I'm just gonna wait a bit until it warms up, or if it continues to spread. It hasn't really spread much at all. However, this is another American Beauty, and you can see that's just got damage. It's all rotted right at the stem. So I think this whole piece is gonna not survive, but the piece above it may. So I would definitely say American Beauty is really the most sensitive to cold out of all of our varieties so far. All right, now compare that to Cinnaspinas here, right next to it, the same microclimate, and it's doing much better. The only frost damage it had was right here, and that's on a really small new growth. You can see I probably should have pruned it back. And that thing was growing all winter. So it'll probably fall off like right about here and continue to grow. Other than that, there's no damage at all on Cinnaspinas. A bit of rust, as you can see right there, those spots there. That's rust. You could treat it with copper fungicide or do nothing. Most people don't. A lot of growers leave it alone. But Cinnaspinas is definitely much more cold hardy, in my opinion. And this cutting's only about 8 months old. So definitely, if you compare American Beauty to Cinnaspinas, you can see clearly a difference in the tolerance of a light, cold frost. All right, let's see what else we can find. Also, not on the paper for evaluation is Condor. And Condor, you can see here, definitely this younger new growth was frost damaged by the frost. And this one that's grew kind of all summer did a lot better. So once it kind of has a chance to thicken up, Condor is definitely more frost hardy than the other varieties I've shown you by far. I'd probably rank it, if I had to guess, like maybe a low 3 for condor. Also, there's red hyena. Let me go show you that damage as well. Okay, so with red hyena, I actually cut out the first bit of frost damage, and it was really, really thick. And so now it's kind of growing back. It's got some more here. See, it's a different type of structure of this plant. So the rot is definitely just blacker, but it's definitely squishy. So I'm gonna leave that right there because I cut it out and you can see it's still kind of growing. It's just been really, really cold. And so this one does not tolerate the frost either. And this is red hyena, or some people said red jana. So that one definitely does not like frost. But then you compare it to a different Paul Thompson, like seedling, like Dark Star. Look at this thing. I think it's a Paul Thompson, I can't remember offhand. But either way, there's zero frost damage at all. I mean, it's still growing. If you look carefully, it's got some winter growth here, right there. See it? So I tipped this about a month ago in the middle of the winter just to see what would happen. We have some new growth there. And zero frost damage. It seems really, really happy. So there's a couple others that are grown in the winter. Let's go show you them really quickly and talk about their cold hardiness. Okay, I also should note that Pride of Fallbrook has some frost damage right there. It's the only spot on the plant, which I thought was pretty interesting. So I'll probably just cut that off and it should be fine. Now, I find it interesting that Halley's Comet has all this crazy winter growth here. It definitely does really well during light frost. So Halley's Comet just keeps growing and growing even during the cold weather. And I would say it's an excellent plant for using as rootstock for grafting as well. So Halley's Comet definitely scores higher, so does Delight. You can see here, Delight. It's a lot of new growth as well. But it did stop right there on the tip, see it? That's what happened right at the last frost. So there's 20, the chart that I showed you, let me grab it again. It definitely is helpful, but there's so many other varieties and they're also unique, or many of them are unique. So cold hardiness is definitely something I'm checking, but I'm keeping most of my new young cuttings in the garage just to be safe. But you can clearly see there's a lot of variation for cold hardiness and frost tolerance in dragon fruit. Alright, I hope that helps. Give us a like, subscribe, take care. Dude, it's creepy.